All right, Caitlin, go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We hope it is good. Welcome to another edition of Geeks Who Like Sports. As always, I am Ray Carsillo in miserable and rainy California, over here in LA, joined by my best friend in the entire world over in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Lee Elias. Lee, how are you doing today, my friend?
Ray, it is sunny. It is beautiful. It was snowy. It was wet. After a storm, Ray, when the sun comes out, what do you see in the sky?
The sun?
And
clouds?
And when there's water vapor in the air, you see
rainbows?
And that brings us to today's non-sponsor of the day, Skittles. Taste the rainbow. Bite-sized candy. I try and bring on geek foods that we would have while we're playing video games, reading comic books, or doing other things. And listen. That is the sound of Skittles. Ray, I always like when young kids come up to me and say, did you know that all the Skittles are the same flavor? Yes. I also know that M&Ms are all the same flavor. I know that because I'm an adult. But you know what you don't know? They've given up the Taste the Rainbow thing here. They've got a new flavor in here. Apparently lime is in these now. And it says the original, ready? The original lime up. Skittles, bite-sized candy. Today's non-sponsor of the day, Skittles. If you want to jump on with the Geeks Who Like Sports and be an official sponsor of the greatest podcast that we have ever created together organically, you can jump on Skittles.
Yes.
It's a geek food. You got to have it.
Yeah, no, Skittles are great. I'm a huge fan of Skittles. I used to get the I loved it whenever I got Skittles, like a Halloween or anything. You get the little bite size, or you get like only a few to a packet. But it was great. We love to have Skittles on board. I am still my non-sponsor for my entire life is still Dunkin', because I need that. It has been miserable here in LA, my friend. We are in the middle of another terrible rainstorm, and I think it finally caught up to me. I'm a touch under the weather, just a bit congested.
No. I was gonna tell you, Ray. You remember a couple weeks ago I had the Doritos bags, but then the Zoa energy drink came in like The Rock did in WWE and moved it out of the way.
Yes.
Well, I ate the Doritos, so we can't use them anymore. But I'll get more.
There you go.
This is a great start to the show. I got Skittles. Yep. You have a cold. It's beautiful in Philly. Horrible in LA. We got.
It's Bizarro World right now.
First time this season that Bizarro World, the geek topics outweigh the sports topic for the first time this season.
It is going to be a heavy geek episode, folks. Of course, football season's over. Baseball has not begun. We do have a little bit of hockey and basketball stuff to talk about. It is a big show, but we got a lot of geek stuff. We got stuff from Xbox. We got a lot of Marvel stuff as well. This should be this should be a good one all around. But yeah, let's also really quickly want to give a shout out to everybody who watched us at Star Trek Virtual Con this past weekend. Of course, you can see that episode on our YouTube, and of course, you can download the podcast as well. But Virtual Trek Con, thank you so much for having us again. That was a great show as we did the Star Trek, the All-Star
Trek lineup for baseball team. I'll say this too. The live audience was so great because, Ray, not only did they stay with us the entire time, but what I thought was the coolest thing was that we had baseball fans. We had non-baseball fans in there that were completely enthralled with what we were talking about, which means that we presented it in a way that was fun, that you didn't necessarily need to know baseball to understand what we were doing. But people learned a lot about baseball because of our collective knowledge of the topic. So what was thought to be impossible, Ray, very easy to go from sports to Star Trek. Not so easy to go from Star Trek to sports. Lifelong dream accomplished right there. Will we do a third appearance? We've been asked already, but we'll see.
Really?
We'll see.
Well, we will have to see. We'll have to see.
We might need
when is the next Virtual Trek Con? Have they announced dates yet or anything of that nature?
It would be next year, Virtual Trek Con 6. Wow. We'll see. I don't know what we're going to do. You know what we need to do? I thought about this. I did think about this. Virtual Trek Con people that are watching, support us with this. We need the Trek Con people to bring us some really amazing Trek people from the show onto an episode as guests so we can discuss sports with the actual characters and actors from Star Trek. That would be my third episode. And I refuse to do something. I don't really refuse until that happens.
We'll figure it out. We have a whole year to plan. But yeah, we've already been part of 40% of the virtual Trek cons at that rate. So there you go. Again, we want to thank them again for letting us come back and do a show there. So, but anyway, let's get into the topics of the week. I have a cold. It was also very cold in New Jersey and outdoors this week.
Hey, Jersey. Hey, let's be really Jersey about being in Jersey. Hey, it's what people think.
We're gonna get into the coverage of these events. It was the NHL Outdoor Stadium Series. The Devils beat the Flyers 6-3. The Rangers, in what they're saying is probably the best outdoor game ever. The Rangers came back. They're calling it the hockey miracle at the Meadowlands.
The best one ever.
I think so.
Ever. It was pretty good. It ranks in the top 5
for sure.
First one was pretty damn good, though.
The Rangers, but the Rangers came back from a 4-1 deficit to win 6-5 in overtime.
That's why people are saying it's the greatest ever, Ray, because it's the Rangers.
Right, which automatically
if it was
makes
the Arizona Coyotes against the Carolina Hurricanes, exact same game, no one would be saying that.
No, exactly, because who cares about the Coyotes? Absolutely nobody, as we know from their attendance before they moved into a college stadium.
The 4,000 Yotes fans are going to be very upset that you said that.
They can come to LA, and I will take them all on one by one.
More likely, they'll just watch the Arizona hockey team, college team play, but that's not what matters. Yotes fans, for those of you who have been diehard with that team, I respect you. I really do. I'm sorry that no one's been able to get it together out there. But there's a lot of people in Atlanta you could probably talk to on a helpline if you need help about what's going to happen next.
Very true. That is very true. About what will happen
Flames.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where that team goes. But anyway.
Thrashers. Oh! That's not my
No, it was a great weekend. It was a great weekend for hockey. Both teams were very good.
They were really good. The hockey was excellent for 3 of the 4 teams. Yeah.
Yes, for 3 of the 4 teams. Your Flyers league just did not.
It's okay. You know what? I don't like to make more of it than it was. It was an outdoor game. It was a home game for the Devils. It was a big game for the Devils. We lost it. You move on to the next game. I mean, I'm saying that about the Rangers too. You want it, you move on to the next game. It's a regular season game. It's special. It's fun. It's different.
It's 2 points, and that's it.
Yeah, but some articles were like, "This was a huge missed opportunity." No, it was just 2 points that was missed, or a 4-point swing. And we have a game tonight, and that's the way it is. We're recording.
And you guys are still in the playoff picture. The Devils are still on the outside looking in. Was it a big game for the Devils to get those 2 points?
Huge.
Absolutely.
Yes. Could it start a winning streak? Possibly.
Sure. But
is it the end of the world? Nah.
Far from it.
And by the way, the Rangers-Islanders outcome is the worst outcome the Flyers could have hoped for, but literally the worst. The worst outcome was the Rangers winning in overtime.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the worst.
Because the Islanders gained ground and the Rangers continue to put distance between themselves and the rest of the division. So, but I mean, look, and also credit to Jersey, Dawes and net. I mean, I think he had 43 saves on 46 shots. It's one of those days where usually you expect a lot of offense in a Winter Classic, and again, it did not disappoint in either game.
The Devils fans needed this, Ray, because with a Napoleonic complex the size of New Jersey, which half the state already roots for the Flyers, they needed a W, and they got one in a horrible stadium.
And the other half of the state roots for the Rangers.
Right. So for those, I think all the Devils fans were actually there. They were all at the game.
all 3,000 of them were actually there in attendance.
Credit. There was like 70,000 people there.
There were 70,000 people, but 30,000 of them were Flyers.
There were a lot of Flyers fans there. Our producer Caitlin was at both games this weekend.
Yes.
Right. We'll talk about that too. But no, listen, it was well done. It was a fun stadium series, right? I didn't. Unlike some of the other ones in the past, this one felt a little better. I am happy that the NHL and the Meadowlands leaned in on that this is in New Jersey. This is not a Rangers quote-unquote home game like it was at Yankee Stadium. This was a New Jersey-led series. Some of that was done really well. Some of that was done pretty poorly. But I like that they let New Jersey have that, right? And I like that Tommy DeVito said before the game the Statue of Liberty is in New Jersey, which is true. Yeah. So for all of you that have the Statue of Liberty on your license plate or used to in New York City, not yours. No, that belongs to New Jersey.
No, technically, where the state water lines are drawn, technically the Statue of Liberty is in Jersey waters. So that is a fact.
The more you know.
Yes. But yeah, let's get into the presentation also of the game. There's a lot of interesting things going on there. You had the Devils show up dressed as Soprano characters. You had the Flyers show up dressed as Rocky in his gray sweatsuit. The Rangers showed up in special NYPD and NYFD jerseys, which I think was very, very classy. And awesome. By the way, it was actually technically an Islander home game at the Meadowlands. It was not a Ranger home game. That's why the Rangers were in their road whites for that one.
That's right. You're right.
Although, I mean, alternate whites, I should say. Well, honestly, I will say this also. I love the Ranger, this Stadium Series jersey. I thought this was really
all
the
nice. Jerseys were pretty good. All the jerseys were pretty good. All four of them, I thought were fine.
The Islanders was the worst, but
no, I actually like the Islanders one a lot, to be honest with you. Like,
really?
I didn't have any problem with that. I liked that it had aisles right across the chest. I'm a little bit more of a simpler person with things. But I like the Islanders jersey. I didn't hate any of the jerseys this year. I thought they all did a pretty good job.
They weren't all. I was just saying if I had to rank them, like they were all fine. They were all good to great. But if I had to rank them,
if we're ranking them, Islanders, do your ranking real quick. I would go Rangers, Devils, Flyers, Islanders. I would go Islanders, Rangers, Devils, Flyers. Believe it or not. Wow. But that's not because I disliked the Flyers one. I just, I think that's the way I would have done it. Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think that's very fair. I think that shout out to Lou Lamoriello, who wouldn't let his athletes walk in anything other than suits. You schmuck. I mean, my goodness, it's like
classic Lou Lamoriello.
Classic Lou. Just shave your face, suits. Don't have any fun. That's it. Not allowed to have fun. They tried to have fun with the this outdoor stadium series. There, it was they tried to do a whole bunch of different things to try to develop the theme of jersey. Again, it was the only two New York Giants they could get was Tommy DeVito, our third string quarterback, and Saquon Barkley, who is not going to be a Giant next year. It's all signs are pointing to him actually coming to LA and joining the Chargers. Reading off cue cards. Yeah. So reading. Yeah. Look. Those are they seem like very nice guys, honestly, and obviously I love them as their Giants, but they are not public speakers, and they do not have teleprompter training. So that was 100% obvious. Clearly no prep there. Much like it felt like there was really no prep for the theme around the rink itself with the theme of parks. The parks. And Garden State has parks. Yeah, with people running around with their dogs during the game. It was a little weird. Yeah, it was a little bit of a weird one when there's a lot that New Jersey has to offer. Like, actually, Ray, our alma mater, Montclair State University, has always done a good job of noting notable New Jerseyans, people who came from the state. This was an opportunity, I think, to highlight some of the greatest people that have come from New Jersey. Yes. Right? Which there's a lot of people that have changed their lives are from New Jersey, especially that part of New Jersey. And I would have had them all over the stadium commemorating them. But we got parks and benches. Parks. Yeah, they did we got parks and we had a mention of Jersey diners 5,000 times, which as much as I love Jersey diners, we get it. And of course, the question that was on the tip of everybody's tongue, if you were at ESPN, pork roll or Taylor ham? Pork roll or Taylor ham? Which one is it, Ryan? Gosh. It's we get it, guys. We get sandwich. It. First off, we get it. It's the 7th ranked broadcast team for ESPN. Sean McDonough is terrible. He doesn't know what he's doing. That's why they kicked him off of Monday Night Football, and they basically continue to he must be under contract and they can't get out of it. It must be ironclad because they don't know where to stick this guy. Do the hockey. Yeah, so now they put him on hockey, and he stinks at that too. For the record, it is Taylor ham, by the way. It's not pork roll. But we did not need to hear about that. Better. Can we just all agree on that anyway? Why would I wish we got to poll people outside of New Jersey. Yes. Would you rather have Taylor ham or pork roll? Assuming you don't know what it is, would you rather have Taylor ham or pork roll? Because the answer is Taylor ham. Yeah. Okay. I'm not from New Jersey. I'm a Philadelphian. Everyone pronounces cheesesteak wrong. All right. So it's Taylor ham. Like, that's what you want with your breakfast sandwich. That's what you want with your Taylor ham sandwich. Come on, it's Taylor ham. So our producer's saying it's been pork roll my whole life. That's not the question. I know that's what people called it. It's if you did not know what that was, would you rather have a pork roll sandwich or Taylor ham? There's no way I believe anybody wants pork roll over Tailor ham. There's no way, especially now with Taylor Swift being who she is.
That's right.
All right.
Oh my God! Why
had
Taylor Swift, Taylor Ham?
It's $1 billion industry right there. Right?
Oh my God! Her and Kelsey need to go into. They need to start making Taylor Swift, Taylor Ham. 100%.
Taylor Swift's Taylor Ham.
Yeah,
it sounds like a video game.
Yeah.
Sounds like a video game from the 90s. Watch our mashup this week.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So it was, So it was a good weekend overall, despite ESPN and the stadium's weird display of everything.
It was weird.
Again, historical game for the Rangers. They're now 5-0 all time in the outdoor games. They are the winningest team in outdoor game history. Matt Rempe made his debut. He's the first player ever to debut in an outdoor game. He got called up by the Rangers and he dropped the gloves with Matt Martin of the Islanders in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, dude's a big dude. He's 6'8". He's gonna get a chance. Rangers have a lot of injuries. He's gonna get a chance in that fourth line to bring some toughness and some grit. We'll see what happens there as he's aside Barclay Goodrow, which is going to be an interesting fourth line as Jimmy Vesey moves up to the top line as Blake Wheeler, unfortunately, might just not be a year-ending injury, but it might be a career-ending injury as he's now 37 and he might just hang the skates up. But that's neither here nor there. But very interesting game. The Rangers, again, they were down 4-1, came roaring back. Vincent Trocheck with a pair of goals in the second period made it 4-3. And then the Islanders, and I'm not going to lie, when the Islanders made it 5-3, I honestly thought that might have been it. That might have been the backbreaker. And then the Islanders did Islander things, and the Rangers did Ranger things. It's why you have two teams going. Team going this way, and one team going this way. It's the Rangers drew a penalty with 5 minutes to go. Peter Laviolette, who by the way, this is his first. He's now 1-3-1. This is his first win in an outdoor game as a coach, and he's now coached the most outdoor games, I do believe. Rangers pull the goalie Shesterkin and have a 6-on-4 power play. The Rangers score. Chris Kreider, once again, another power play goal, made it 5-4, but there's still 3 minutes to go. So, Lee, what happens? The Rangers draw another penalty.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, another power play for the Rangers, and so Peter Laviolette's
it's a power play goal.
Pull the goalie again, and the Rangers score another 6-on-4 power play goal. Mika Zibanejad, and yet, Lee, I love this. What we talked about it after the game. When you drop to a knee on a one-timer, that is like an little extra mustard on that one-timer.
Middle finger. That's what that is. You drop to it. Listen, as someone who has done that, and for those who don't know, when you drop to a knee on a one-timer, you're getting all of that shot. I'm gonna say this right now, Ray. The hardest shot I ever took in my life was a drop to the knee one-timer. And it is a little exclamation point on it. Mustard's a great way of looking at it. Hot chili, whatever you want. Yeah. Zing.
So that tied it up at 5. And then 10 seconds into overtime, the third fastest goal in Ranger history in overtime, Artemi Panarin forces a turnover in the Islanders zone, makes a beautiful move completely. Sorokin just got absolutely obliterated. The defenseman then crashed the net, knocked the net off its mooring, but it didn't matter because the puck was already over the line, or at least it was going over the line. And so the ref said, because of the way the rule goes, is that even though the integrity of the net was still in during the motion of the shot, I'm not sure the specific rule, but anyway, it's a good goal. The Rangers win in overtime, 6-5. It was great. It's great. I hate the Islanders. Awesome. It's great.
Listen, this is what I'm going to tell you. Two things. One is the NHL should do what the NBA did and have an in-season tournament with the winner of that tournament or the championship game taking place at one of these stadium series games. Should not be the Winter Classic. It should be a stadium series game. That way you get the home team to play the game, but there's also this great championship game the next night or the night before. So again, you get the two games there. People want to see that, right? So that's my throw out there to the NHL. Do an in-season tournament, have the championship game be played at one of the Stadium Series games. It is not the greatest Stadium Series game of all time. It's not the greatest outdoor game of all time, and I'll tell you why. The greatest outdoor game ever played is the first Winter Classic when Pittsburgh Penguins took on the Buffalo Sabres, because there's nothing quite anything as dramatic as Sidney Crosby winning the game on a shootout goal. I'm sorry, shootout goal. And again, I'm not a Sidney Crosby guy. I'm not from Pittsburgh. I have a lot of respect for him, but I'm not a Penguins fan. In the snow. It was snowing when he scored.
That is the little extra icing
If this happened in the snow, I might give it to you. Really?
Yeah.
All right. It was a fun game to watch. Definitely, maybe I'll put it even top 3 all-time outdoor games. But that first Winter Classic with the experiment that it was, the snow, No one had ever seen it before. You have at that time the greatest athlete in hockey getting the game-winning goal against a team that people forget Buffalo was somewhat competitive at that time.
Right.
That's still to me the best moment that's ever happened in a Winter Classic.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That is fair. I definitely, again, I think the snow is what puts it over the edge for that one.
The flurries, right? It was just,
Sure.
It was insane. That moment was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You got the same thing with the Rangers, but if it was just snowing a little bit, it would have been a totally different thing.
No, absolutely. And who knows what would have happened at that point? But yeah, no, it was a good weekend for hockey. It was a good weekend for the Rangers. It wasn't a good weekend for the Flyers. Moving on. We go now to college. This was actually a great moment for college. This is something we knew had been tracked for a long time this season, and it finally happened. Caitlin Clark sets the NCAA women's basketball record. She dropped, I think it was 47, I think, in that game. Yeah. Absolutely unbelievable.
She got the record in like the first 5, 4, 3 minutes of the game.
Well, she scored she needed 8 points. She scored the first 8 points of the game for her team.
With the record breaker coming from like almost half court.
It was a logo shot. Yeah, it was a logo shot. It was unbelievable. She was absolutely phenomenal. She got to do it in front. People were sad she didn't do it the previous game, but in a weird way, it was actually better because she got to do it in front of her home fans now at Iowa. Right. It was a big deal. They destroyed Michigan 106-89. She absolutely obliterated them. It was beautiful. It was it was a phenomenal game. She is transcending women's college basketball, I think, in a way like you'd be hard pressed to say, like, I think in college, because there's such a turnover, particularly in basketball, that because unlike college football, I think in basketball you only need to play, I think, a year before you can declare for the pros. She has become a face for college basketball, men and women, and she has just done. Her career has been fantastic. And honestly, this is how you grow the WNBA: is that you get developed stars here, and then they go to the pros, and hopefully most people will follow, and you can grow that game there. She is, congratulations to her, a phenomenal performance and a phenomenal record. So.
Yeah, it shows you the progress of women's sports in the mainstream. A few things, too. Caitlin Clark, who's been great her entire career at Iowa, but a lot of people saw her for the first time in last year's national championship game, which they lost to LSU, but there was a little bit of extracurricular activities between players, and she was one of the ones involved. But I think she handled herself really well. And I think that people really started noticing, wow, this is an incredible athlete. It also shows you, too, that I'm going to guarantee that most of the listening audience doesn't even know when the previous record for this was set, because it wasn't that long ago.
It was only actually 10 years ago, actually, 2014.
Right. It was not that long ago, right? And I don't remember any hoopla over that then. So it just goes to show you, not to mention, this is probably a record that might not be broken, right? This is one of those, it's going to be a long time, in my opinion, before anybody gets even close to breaking this record. Yeah. But I'm interested to see what Iowa does this year and where they go. Hopefully they can get back to the national championship game and she can get herself a ring. But yeah, great moment in women's sports. And again, the way it's being presented, Ray, is that it's not like, oh, this is a woman who did this. It's like, this is an NCAA record. It's prolific. It's being done correctly, finally. Yes. So it's monumental for Caitlin Clark. It's also monumental for women's sports. And Caitlin Clark, even in interviews, she doesn't have to hold herself like, well, I'm a woman, right? She's like, no, I'm a basketball player and I broke this record. It's awesome. We got a great team here. It's cool to see. So congratulations to her at the NCAA actually for doing something right. And it's a huge moment for women's sports.
Yeah, I also just want to correct myself. I said she had 47 points. She had 49 actually in that
Ray,
game.
That's irresponsible journalism, and you should slap yourself.
No, I corrected myself. I double checked. I fact checked.
The reports between plays don't matter in the NFL. I just wanted to put that out there one more time. They're fake.
They're all fake. You know what else is fake? The NBA All-Star game.
The NBA All-Star game is fake.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's like we talk about great basketball here with Caitlin Clark, and then you want to talk about the exact opposite of that. And I get it's a show. It's supposed to be kind of entertaining, right? To me, this is an example of the skills competition being so much better, right? The 3-point contest, the slam dunk contest, than the game itself, right? The East in the NBA won 211 to 186. It's a record. It's the most points by far ever scored in an All-Star game. It looked like, I mean, I wouldn't even, I've seen practices more competitive than this. This really felt like I don't know. I watched a couple of minutes and I was just like, okay, that's enough. I'm good. Like, I don't need to ever watch this ever again. Lee, I really feel that the NBA still has an All-Star game problem, and I don't know how they fix it, even with their LED court now.
Talk about that for a minute, because the answer lies within that description.
More LEDs?
Talk about the LED court, and I'll tell you how to fix the All-Star game.
Well, I mean, there was an LED court,
which was fantastic. Some people hated it. It was fantastic.
For the celebrity
Anybody
game
who didn't like that, you're an idiot.
Yeah, it made it kind of made it video game-esque.
You're
right?
onto something there, Ray. You're onto something there, Ray.
So maybe with the All-Star game,
you're onto something here, Ray.
Like you just build that kind of that arcadey-ness of it up.
Imagine, Ray, if the 3-point line moved, or if there were spots on the court that were worth 10 points or negative 5 points, or that if you shot from there, you get no points. Imagine if you gamified the court, which you could do with an LED court, which is amazing. You could have so many things. You could have a money ball shot. You could have a you can't shoot from here shot. There's 100 things you could do. The problem is, I think the athletes would cry so much about that when it would be incredibly fun for us. Ray, imagine if the users at home could have some control over that on the court, the LED court. Imagine the sponsorship opportunity for Sprite to have the money shot from half court, that if you make it, it's worth 20 points, or it takes 10 points off the other team. There's so much you could do with that. So much you could do. And it would take two geeks who love sports to figure this one out. And I know they could do it because they were tracking people during the skills competition with flames and lightning bolts and things going all over the place. There's a lot they could have done there. I'm sure they discussed it. I really am. It just didn't happen. Yes. As our producer has put on the screen, the NBA should hire us for these things. I think that there's huge opportunity with that LED court to change. I mean, you could make a whole new sport with that, Ray.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you really could. How about this, Ray? And people might think this is stupid. What if you had a situation where, like, at some point randomly in the game, the court switches and you have to go to the other basket? I mean, there's so much you could do with this thing, right? You could have celebrities come out. There's a lot you could do. I don't have any desire to see a 200-point basketball game, right?
No.
All right. In fact, that's shocking to me that was the score, right?
Yeah.
NBA, this is it. You could do it. You could have Uno going on during the game. Make a spectacle out of it, or make that the in-season tournament championship game. You schmucks.
Yes.
People would watch that.
Yeah.
You can still have the skills competition the night before.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm Lee Elias. My agent is Ray Carsillo. Please send all inquiries to Ray at geekswholikesports.com. And all job opportunities to him for this NBA. And Ray, you call me, the LA talk. Call me, and my people will talk to your people, and we'll have lunch.
Yes. We'll figure it out, NBA. We can do this.
Am I wrong? Wrong with this?
Not at all.
So obvious.
Yeah. It just it makes perfect sense. It makes almost too much sense. And that's why the NBA won't do it. But yeah, no, I think they have a problem with this.
Here's the other thing too. Like, it begs the question, would we like to see other sports do this? You could, believe it or not, do it in hockey. You could.
Yeah.
All right. It'd be very hard. Football, not for another 50 years.
Yeah.
Right. And then baseball, no. So basketball is the only one that could do it right now. I would love to see ice hockey do this, something like that. Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah. Well, I also want to say, I think is going to be interesting is there's talks in the NFL that they are going to add the 18th game to the regular season soon. And that would push the Pro Bowl and the Super Bowl further back than they already are. What if you had a 3-sport all-star weekend? Because you already had the NHL all-star weekend on the same weekend as the Pro Bowl. What if you did the NBA stuff, the NHL stuff, and the NFL stuff all in the same city, all around? Like, you could have athletes from the NBA participating in NFL games, NFL guys trying to be on skates on the ice. I don't know. Like, you could try to, I don't know. What would you, this is just something I was just brainstorming the other day when I heard about
this. The idea of it works. The money does not. There's no way the sports leagues are going to split that kind of revenue, right? Because who's bringing in the draw, right? The NFL could say, well, 90% of these people are here because of us,
right?
Which would not be true. But like, they're never going to split that kind of revenue, right? Yeah. So that's why you'll never see that. Now, what you could do is have one city host all three over the course of different weekends. But let's just be brutally honest here. Like, all-star games are ridiculous now.
Yes.
I understand the prestigiousness of making an all-star team. I'm not against that. I think that's important. I love skills competitions. I look forward to the NHL skills competition over the actual game every single year. Right. But when we look at innovative things, I think the NHL turning it into an international tournament, while dangerous for some of the players, is also a brilliant idea. They're trying to do things. But at the end of the day, I don't understand why they don't just rethink this. That in-season tournament idea is brilliant. It is a moneymaker. Again, you could tag it on to other things. Right. So I don't know why they don't just do that. Not to mention, for the All-Star game for hockey, why would you not put that in a stadium series? Why would you not put that outside? People are going to be there. They're going to want to go.
Right.
So I don't know. I think that there's a lot of money that gets poured in these all-star games. They do make money, but I don't think it's the TV revenue that they care about. I think it's that arena. And this is how you have to look at it from a GM ownership standpoint. Look, the all-star game was in Florida last year. The all-star game was in Toronto. How much money is that for the city on that weekend that they don't get every year? That's why it moves around every single year. It's your turn to make the money, right? You don't see them going to Vegas every year. They would if it was just about draw. They go to different cities to make money for those different teams. And that's the science behind it. That's why they don't stop, because they sell out every year. The NBA's All-Star game is sold out,
right?
Even though there was a curtain. It's just it's one of those things, Ray, where this is a business, and I think that it's a very small part of the business.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like the NHL, NBA, NFL, and MLB are making billions at the All-Star game. That's why they're not focusing on it too much. I appreciate the NBA bringing in that LED screen. Brilliant. But you scratch the surface with it, literally.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they build on it and hopefully make it bigger and better. And producer Caitlin says that my idea.
Carsillo Elias Alliance is on this. Yes. Come on, people. Come on, NBA.
Producer Caitlin says my idea sounds like mayhem. Exactly. Protect yourself from mayhem, like me.
Oh my God, they did base that off of you.
I should get royalties for that. For everyone every time they do one of those commercials.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ray and I, mostly because of Ray, used to drive around New Jersey in a Chevrolet playing the Batman theme, not speaking, for hours at a time. That's what we did when we were younger.
Yeah.
And you know what? Some of you listening might think, well, that's really dumb. It was awesome.
Yes.
Really driving around Gotham. I mean, every once in a while, we'd be like, should we go to the city? Should we go to the city? We didn't, but that's not the point.
No. We were keeping
Shelby Miles?
Cavalier.
The Cavalier, the Carsillo Cavalier, and Elias Alliance.
Yeah. We just we were keeping the streets safe.
We did.
Around Montclair State. So
those little punk 8-year-olds learned a lesson.
That's right.
who are all now 28.
Yeah, they're all adults now.
We know where you live.
Yeah, they're still probably in Montclair. But anyway,
at a diner or a park.
Yeah. So that does it for the sports section of the show. Moving on.
No way. It's only been 34 minutes.
I know. You know what? Actually, I think we got more out of it than I thought we were going to.
Very fair. Well, we're good at what we do, right?
That is true. But we got a huge geek section. I'm really, really excited for this one. We finally get the official. First off, the rumors are true of Pedro Pascal playing Mr. Fantastic, but we also got the rest of his Fantastic Four squad. We got, again, Pedro Pascal, who, of course, you know as the Mandalorian, who you know from The Last of Us, who you know from, insert geek property here.
He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah. So, I think he's going to be great as Reed Richards, as Mr. Fantastic. We also get Vanessa Kirby from The Crown as the
Mission Impossible.
Yeah, that's right. So we get Joseph Quinn, probably best known for his role in Stranger Things, as Eddie Munson as the Human Torch. bit of a younger Human Torch, or at least feels like a younger Human Torch. I think that'll work, especially if he teams up with Tom Holland Spider-Man at some point, because those two are like best friends. So not like best friends, but they're really, really good friends.
They're friendly.
They're very friendly. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And then finally we get, I hope I'm saying this right, Eben Moss.
I'm helping you out.
Thank you.
What was his name again?
Eben?
No, just say his name again.
Eben Moss.
You did it. Good job. You got it.
He's probably best known right now for his role on The Bear. And also, actually, funny enough, already
Cocaine Bear?
Cocaine Bear? Different bear. Different bear. The Cooking Bear. He actually had a role in the Punisher TV series. So he gets a bigger role now in the MCU. And he is actually this is in fact first Jewish actor to actually portray Ben Grimm, who is actually one of the few well-known Jewish superheroes in the MCU. So that's a nice bit of representation there. And I think he's going to be great, even though obviously he's going to have to wear that prosthetic suit or however they do it for most of the time. But I think this is great casting. I think all around I'm super, super excited. And we got the release date, July 25th, 2025. The Marvel Cinematic Universe becomes fantastic.
See what you did there. Listen, Fantastic Four will come down to one thing and one thing only, is the script. Yes. You've had good actors in the past, very good actors play these roles in the past, but the scripts have been either mediocre or horrible. I would say the Fantastic Four, I guess we should say when we were kids or younger, they weren't horrendous, but they were from a different time.
Yeah.
They were very much from the original Spider-Man film time with Tobey Maguire. They were in that vein. Again, not horrible. I didn't think they messed up the Silver Surfer. I did think that they messed up a Galacticus. But
yes, they screwed that up badly.
Yeah. Not Morgan Freeman. What's his name? Played the Silver Surfer.
Lawrence Fishburne was.
Lawrence Fishburne was great. So those movies weren't bad. But if you look at the last incarnation of the Fantastic Four, Miles
Teller,
Michael Jordan. I mean, like
you had great actors and you had really great bad script,
right? And it didn't work. And I think that they were going to try and bring that into the MCU at some point, but it failed miserably.
Thank goodness.
Right. And it's funny because all those actors ended up coming over to the MCU anyway. But it all comes down to the script. They've been planning this for a long time. I can't believe they're going to mess this up. But Ray, I'm actually interested to talk about some of these other rumored actors for villains, because here's the deal. Heroes are great, and I love heroes. I'm not negating that. But outside Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Hiddleston, who are just insanely incredible actors. I'm not trying to poo-poo on any of the other ones, but those two stick out amazingly hard. The villains are what drive the MCU. Thanos drove the MCU, whether you like that or not. We're going to talk about X-Men, in which they're going to do this too very soon. But the two people you have listed here, Ray, I'm going to let you introduce them for some of these other. Well, one's a villain, one's a hero.
Yes.
Very important. Very important to make sure you get this right, especially in the light of what's his name? I'm blanking on his name now. The main villain of the MCU who doesn't exist anymore. See, this is how they get you. No, I don't want to remember. Don't you understand?
That's right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes, the man who played Kang.
Who's Kang? Kang's not a thing anymore. We moved on from Kang. It's funny. Somebody wrote the other day, it's like you had a multiverse where you could have had a million actors play Kang, and you decided to put one actor in all of them. You schmucks. But as we move on, I don't know how they're going to rectify this. I'm sure they're going to do a great job, but there's another villain on the rise. You were going to say it.
Yeah, no, this is a good chance for Jonathan Majors was who they got rid of. That's who his name was. That's
who?
Exactly. No, this sounds like this would be actually great casting.
It would be, I think, very good casting.
Yeah. The rumor is that Galactus will be the villain of the first Fantastic Four film, and that Javier Bardem will play Galactus. Now, for those who aren't familiar with the comics, Galactus is the World Eater. He is a celestial being, which again we've touched upon in other films that we also want to forget about, like Eternals.
Well, again, there has to be some connection to that in this. Again, my belief on the Eternals for everybody listening is that film was the Captain Marvel film for this kind of next few chapters of the MCU. Whereas, if you remember, Captain Marvel came in the third chapter, the third series of the MCU, the third phase. And everybody's complaining, like, where did she just come from randomly? Right. I think they're trying to get that out of the way now. So in 5 years, we can be like, you guys remember the Eternals? It makes sense now. And people like Ryan, I'd be like, yeah, you didn't need to make us wait a decade, you schmuck.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, this would be, I mean, Javier Bardem, celestial being that must eat planets in order to survive, and is also the being that bestows the power cosmic on the Silver Surfer. So,
right. But you can't do one without the other.
You really can't. So it's going to be interesting to see. But a Fantastic Four, usually the big foil to Galactus, they usually do something to help him in order to like keep Earth off his list. Kind of understanding that he's a force of nature in a way. Like you can't. All you can do is hope to divert him. You can't stop him.
No,
and that's what the Fantastic.
He is a much bigger villain than Thanos.
Yeah.
Like infinitely bigger. Like Thanos would be nothing to him, even with the Infinity Stones, right?
Yeah.
Javier Bardem too. If anybody's ever seen No Country for Old Men, I mean, this guy's built for this big time, right?
Yeah.
I would love that. Very similar, kind of in a way, to Josh Brolin too, like in the demeanor of the character. It would be fantastic.
I think
pun intended.
Yes. Here's what I'm thinking, because they also say people think that this movie is going to start in the 60s, which is when the Fantastic Four originated.
Well, then the poster kind of hints that might
right. That's what the poster hints at, right? I think that what's going to happen is that Galactus is going to threaten Earth. The Fantastic Four are going to go into space to meet him. They're going to get hit by the cosmic rays, possibly something like a tailwind from Galactus's ship or something, right? Like,
no, it'd be so smart.
Right? Yeah. That's what gives them their powers. And then what ends up happening is that if you want to bring them into the modern MCU, we've already seen so much stuff with time travel, and we've seen so much stuff with alternate dimensions and everything, is that when they're dealing with Galactus, it could kind of be like they kind of get frozen in time, and then when they come back to Earth, almost like a Planet of the Apes situation, and then it's like, oh my God, and almost like a Captain America situation, oh my God, 60 years have passed. What is this world that we're living in? But hey,
it writes itself. It writes itself, Ray.
Yeah, or at least I could do it. I can do better than the guys who wrote Madam Web.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute too. But no, my attitude, Ray, is that, like, don't lean on the multiverse for everything. Like, you know what I mean? And like that's what they're in danger of doing. Where the issues with the multiverse is, oh wait, here's another character. There's another character. It's like, no, just use it to bring the X-Men in and a couple other things, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
And we'll get into it, but I do think that's what they're going to do with the X-Men. With the
I do too. But there's so, I'm laughing because there's so much good canon out there. You don't need to mess this up. Yeah. Right. So I love that idea of time displacement. They come back. It's a different world. Well, the other big question that we have to talk about at some point, not yet, in a future episode, is just how Deadpool is going to play into this MCU.
Yeah.
Because Deadpool, again, they could do nothing and just make it funny, or it could have massive implications on this. And in the trailer, he says, I am Marvel MCU Jesus. Look, that might be more of a serious line than anybody realizes, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. Anyway, I want to talk about this other person that's been rumored, because you have him written down here as a hero. But I've actually heard him rumored also as a villain.
Yes, well, that's the other thing, is that the idea is that when the Fantastic Four come, my script and what they are at least saying this, is that the tease will be Doctor Doom at the end of the Fantastic Four movie, right? He would be one of the Easter egg scenes to set up a sequel and possibly the MCU going forward.
Right, and again, Doctor Doom, we always got to tell the audience this is a top 3 most powerful villain, if not number 1.
Yeah.
Right. In a lot of ways. This is the biggest villain, I think, that exists in the MCU, in my opinion, in terms of storylines, interaction with characters. Because you said it before, Galactus kind of comes and goes. Yes. Right. It's not an all the time thing. Like Dr. Doom is always around. Right. Yeah. And it shows up when you least expect it.
And sometimes he shows up to help. Like sometimes that's the
never
thing.
Know.
He has his own machinations. He has his own reasons for doing things. And he is really he's as smart as Mr. Fantastic. He's as strong magically as Doctor Strange, and like that's a bad, dangerous combo,
right?
And he has all the money of Tony Stark.
Yeah,
because he's the king of his
an
country.
Awesome villain. He's an awesome villain that has not been done. The older Fantastic Four movies didn't ruin it. He wasn't bad, but he was a very kind of 2000s villain.
Yes.
The MCU has the ability to do it right. And again, what I would love is for that to kind of be the eventuality of how Kang gets destroyed, is that Doom does it, that a villain destroys another villain.
Well, and then that's the thought too, is that Fantastic Four will then actually lead directly into Avengers Secret Wars, and that's when Doom really kind of like, you
heard it here first, folks. We're geniuses at Geeks Who Like Sports.
Yeah. So, but it is interesting because you did mention there are a lot of rumors as to who will play Dr. Doom. Here's the thing. So Henry Cavill, formerly Superman, also loves Warhammer.
A lot.
And good for him, honestly. He's also The Witcher. He has been tied to several MCU projects as several different characters, which is why it's really hard to pin down the rumors. One of them is that he will be Dr. Doom. The one that I actually think is more likely is that he's also been tied to playing Captain Britain.
Right.
Which, especially with the advancement of the X-Men, to me, I think is possible because he's also the brother of Betsy Braddock, aka Psylocke, and not the Olivia Munn Psylocke, like a good Psylocke. She, and I think it's interesting. They're talking about Captain Britain as kind of almost being like a James Bond-esque character, but with like super strength and flight. Like, I think that's an interesting idea and an interesting take on what is traditionally a more minor character in Marvel. But Lee, what way do you think they're going to go? Are they going to go some other way? Are they going to go a different way? Is Henry Cavill going to play something else we haven't even heard about yet?
Yeah, look, here's the thing about Cavill that I've always loved about him is that if the film or the script is not true to the character, he will not do it. He is massive geek like we are, and he is very loyal.
It's why he left The Witcher. It's why he got exhausted with Superman.
Right. So here's the deal. If he wants to do Captain Britain, and this is where my mind goes, it's because they're going to make Captain Britain a major character in comic books and in the MCU. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's possible, right? Now, if he wants that challenge and he thinks he can do that challenge and they bring him a script that makes sense, yeah, of course he'll do it. But I think Cavill has earned something better than that. I think you could bring in a lot of actors to play Captain Britain. I'd rather see a younger, no-name actor play Captain Britain.
That's fair.
I think that's the way to do that. Doom is a character that needs a lot of responsibility. Mm-hmm. Needs someone who understands the character, and it needs someone who knows how to play a villain. And Cavill has played a villain. Huh?
Need a lot of gravitas.
Oh yeah, sorry, I thought you said a name. Like who? No, but like he's played a villain in Mission Impossible. Very well, by the way. I mean, he's really good in that film. Yeah, he does the arm reloading.
The arm, cocking the arms.
I just, whether it's Doom or somebody else, I just think this guy has deserved his chance to do what he does. He is really good at what he does, right? And it's like he's been tossed around by these executives, like they really screwed him as Superman. He was such a good Superman in my opinion.
Well, we've documented the dumpster fire that is Warner Brothers.
Extensively
on the show.
Yeah, and it's just like, I have a lot of respect for Henry Cavill as a person, as an actor, and as a geek, to lack of a better word. And he's
one of us. He's
one of us, and I trust him wholeheartedly that if he's going to land in a character, he's going to do that character justice.
Yeah. No, I think that I'm excited to see wherever he lands in the MCU. I think that it'll be fun, and like you said, he'll only do it if it makes sense for him. It makes sense for the character. It makes sense for the universe. So, but yeah. So, and again, I mentioned the X-Men. The Captain Britain's a character in the X-Men. By the way, also Captain Britain. We mentioned this in the show too. It's a weird character because he loses his powers the farther away he gets from Britain.
Which Cavill will love that.
Yeah. So maybe not. But anyway,
by the way, that was just a great writing technique to keep him from being Superman. Everybody, I just want you all to know that you can't be Superman. You can't leave the UK.
Yeah.
Right, mate. I'll go stay in London.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. But yes, moving on to this is the big news. This is the big trailer that dropped since the last time we joined you folks. as Lee is so excited, he jumps up from his chair. There he is. Now we go. Vampy got the headphones back on. X-Men 97 gets a release date, and it's coming a lot sooner than we expected. It's coming out March 20th from when we are recording here on February 20th, and exactly 1 month away as Lee is holding his Wolverine action figure. Is that like a 12
Still
inch
in the box.
Still in the box. Is that
Yeah.
like a 12 inches? That
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So it's super exciting. The trailer looked phenomenal, really picking up right where the show left off. I love the new Morph redesign because he is kind of this, he's a shapeshifter. They're going with Mohawk Storm, which is great. They also, they're picking it up where Magneto is the leader of the X-Men, right? Well, that happened in the comics at one point where I'm sure Professor Xavier will come back to life just like in the X-Men. And then, yes, you're making the symbol for your claws.
No, that was, well, I can do that too. But House of M, I think we're going towards House of M.
That could happen, maybe, with Scarlet Witch, because they're also saying that X-Men 97 will tie into the larger MCU. Like, now, will it be where Deadpool somehow pops in or something? I have no idea. But there's a lot you can do here, and I'm super excited to see where it goes. And, of course, probably the moment that everybody in the internet is still talking about, that Lee perfectly coined, we have the fastball special, and now we have the Raging Cajun, which is Gambit riding on Wolverine's shoulders and then supercharging his claws. The only thing that I point out about that is some people are arguing about how much Gambit can control his kinetic energy powers, but if he doesn't have proper control, does that mean he blows up Wolverine because it's supercharging his skeleton and everything that Gambit touches kind of blows up?
We'll just geek this one because I don't really care. Wolverine can control it. That's how we're going to say it.
Fair enough. I mean, the other thing too is that, like, even if obviously he'd come back from it because of his healing factor, right? Like, Wolverine would come back. It just could be very painful if it isn't properly practiced.
I'm gonna guess because this cartoon, he's just lighting up the claws and keep in mind, Gambit stays on top of him the entire time, so you might have to be connected to him to do it.
Right, and then that's how he's able to control the energy, because it's usually when Gambit lets go of that's things kind of blow up, and that's why he uses his playing cards and all that, and it just we'll see. Yeah. But it looked awesome.
It looks amazing. This was there was no other show when I was growing up more dear to me than X-Men and Quantum Leap. But from a cartoon standpoint, X-Men is the one. I love this show. I love, Ray, as you said, they're picking up exactly where they left off.
Yep.
The reason I said House of M or House of Magneto, for those of you who don't know, is that Xavier leaves everything to Magneto, and this is going to be his character arc of turning from evil to good.
Yep.
Which they were never able to do in the cartoon.
Right.
Because Magneto is a dark villain in most of this cartoon, if you guys haven't seen it. I believe all episodes are available on Disney Plus now.
Yes.
I cannot wait to watch this. I don't care that I'm 40 years old. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
God, saying it out loud hurts a little bit.
We've been waiting for this for years, and we've been waiting for this since they announced it. And the fact that it's only a month away now is unbelievable. Be sure to tune in every week to Geeks Who Like Sports. Are they dropping every episode at once, or do they have a release schedule for the series yet?
I don't care. I'm happy either way.
No. Somebody said they should release every episode on subsequent Saturday mornings.
No, that's how I would do it.
Yeah. So
the poster for it was VHS tapes. I mean, it was brilliant.
Yes, which is just fantastic. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people might not remember, a younger audience. There was a huge Pizza Hut deal when we were kids. That if you went to Pizza Hut, you could get episode 1 or 2 on VHS with a pizza. Yeah. I'll even share the ad on the Geeks Who Like Sports fan page on Facebook. Make sure you join that if you haven't already. Yeah. But VHS and all of the episodes were on VHS at one point. And that's how a lot of people watched them. You'd go to your rental store and get them.
Yep.
And sometimes you have to watch them out of order because people were renting all the time. But Ray, I'm very excited for this.
Yeah, no, this is going to be phenomenal. The trailer looked great. You have some of the original voice cast returning. Some folks have been recast. I'm kind of curious to see how it plays out. Some of the voices sounded better than others. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
but,
we'll see
at least in the trailer. But we'll see what the final product sounds like.
Well, I had a really cool moment. I had a friend. He's actually a pretty big comic book fan, so this surprised me a little bit. But I told him, "Hey, did you see the X-Men 97 trailer?" And he had no idea what I was talking about. And to be fair, very busy person. Has a lot of comic books. I mean, true geek. So I'm not sure how this one slipped through the cracks, but I had this really awesome opportunity. Right, like, let me just show you the trailer. Right, like I showed it to him, and like I saw him turn into a 12-year-old again.
That's
great. You know what I mean? And it was like, he's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "This is real. Yeah, this is happening." Yeah. And it was like, oh my goodness, I got to see him experience that, and that was really cool.
Yeah, no, this is going to be great for X-Men fans, and again, and this is a great way also to introduce the X-Men right before Deadpool. Right,
Makes sense.
It's perfect. It's brilliant. It's a great
way.
It's
funny if Deadpool's at the end. Like, that's the teaser at the end.
No, I really think this is going to lead right into Deadpool somehow. Like, I really think, and like, especially now that there's the rumor that there's multiple Wolverines in Deadpool 3, right? Like, that it's not just Hugh Jackman, and that that there's like an MCU version of Wolverine, and that there might be the animated, again, multiversal. The TVA we know is involved in Deadpool. They can kind of go anywhere and do anything. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it all plays out. The next 6 months, the next 5 to 6 months for Geekdom is going to be really, really interesting because it's going to be all X-Men. So really excited to see what happens. Something else X-related, Xbox. Moving on to video games. Everybody last couple of weeks were freaking out. Microsoft's getting out of hardware. They're going to become the new Sega.
Whoa. I was not freaking out.
Not you, not us.
Not
us. The internet. Yeah. The morons on the X on Twitter. Another X thing. Right? Like all those idiots who are like, I'm a Microsoft influencer and I'm not going to be an influencer anymore. You're morons. And again, it shows that most people on the internet, A, don't know what they're talking about, and B, overreact to the smallest things. Let me tell you now. Let me talk to you. Let me do a little LA night for everybody. Let me talk to you.
Yeah.
This is what Microsoft announced. First off, not only are they not getting out of the hardware business, their next console is already in development. They're already planning for it to release probably within the next 4 years, which makes sense because that would be the full console. That would be the Xbox Series X, a standard console cycle. As Lee rolling back now, fix the Geeks Who Like Sports sign. The sign fell in the background, but Lee's back.
Can't do the show with that off. Yeah.
No. But yeah, whatever the next Xbox console is, I said it'll release the next 4 years. Which will be about the proper length of a life cycle for a console nowadays. They also announced that Game Pass has now surpassed 34 million subs. It's not a bad number. It's not a bad number at all.
And rising.
And that's $15 a month per person. So hey, let's do some quick math. I'm gonna get out the calculator because I used to do that's $500 million a month. It's $500 million a month. So, it's not bad.
It's going under. It's gonna go under, Ray.
Microsoft's in trouble. I don't know what are they doing. They did announce also, by the way, now that they have Activision Blizzard, hey, Diablo 4, one of the biggest franchises ever, is coming to Game Pass. Holy cow. So if you haven't played Diablo, I'm actually mad now because I paid for Diablo. And now I know. Yeah. I know. Well, they're going to be fair. To be fair, I had no idea.
You thought Xbox was going under, so why wouldn't you?
No, I didn't know. Actually, I didn't know if the Activision Microsoft merger was going to go. That's fair. So I got Diablo when it first came out, but that's going to be on Game Pass now. If you were curious about that, the one thing that is happening, and this is honestly something that probably Sony should start to look into, and I think that tomorrow, by the way, Nintendo is going to have a press conference. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to announce some of these. I hope it's Switch 2, but at this point, Switch 2 might be getting pushed to the end of this year, the very beginning of 2025.
Stock dropped because of that. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, because it's
going to be very good time to buy Nintendo stock.
That is very true because once the Switch 2 comes out, that's going to go right back through the roof. Microsoft is announcing that they're going to bring 4 games to other systems to make more money. It's that simple. It sounds the suspicion is Sea of Thieves, which has been a huge ongoing game for them for a long time now. It's made by Rare, of course, the folks who made GoldenEye and Donkey Kong way back in the day, Banjo-Kazooie. The fact that they might go to PlayStation and or Nintendo is a big deal. Really expand that audience and keep that game going, because it's had a thriving audience for a while, but obviously a whole new audience would keep that going even longer. A game called Grounded, which is a game about basically kind of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the video game, where you play as like you and your friends play as kids who are trapped in like your backyard, but you're super tiny. Pentiment. And this is the big one. This was a game that I played last year that I really loved, called Hi-Fi Rush, which is a rhythm-based battler, an action-adventure game. And yeah, same thing. It was a Game Pass game, and now it's a chance for them to maybe go make some money for that on other systems. So, and honestly, the one thing they did say is they don't think there's going to be as many console exclusives in the future, aside from a couple of franchises, really.
Yeah. Why would they do that? It just restricts the money. It never made sense to me in the beginning. Like I said, this isn't a console war anymore. You know what I mean? Like
the wars are over, folks. The wars are over.
Yeah. The games have won.
The players have won.
Right.
Like that's what it is. So I mean, in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Sony. We already saw this starting with Sony bringing in the show over to Switch and Microsoft. Although that was more baseball kind of forcing their hand, but still. And that was a huge success for them. Huge success. So why won't other companies think about doing that? And we've seen Microsoft do this before with Minecraft and other things. This is only going to continue to proliferate. And I think that Sony, for whatever reason, keeps wanting to dig their heels in and are resisting this when, by the way, Sony numbers are down across the board in terms of sales.
But they sold more consoles, Ray.
Yeah, and now the market is saturated. And so you keep making consoles for people who aren't going to buy them anymore. So what you need to do is, like, they have this new big massive game called Helldivers 2. Put Helldivers on Xbox. Helldivers is right now the most popular game in video games right now. It is setting all kinds of concurrent player records on PC. It makes the perfect sense. Put it on Xbox. Put some of your popular multiplayer games on Xbox, which still, by the way, has a better multiplayer network still than Sony, even after all these years. And make your money. It makes I get God of War. I can see maybe wanting to hold on to Uncharted. Okay. Same thing with like Halo and maybe Gears of War for Xbox. But even that, bring the Marvel stuff over to Xbox already. Bring Horizon over to Xbox. Do you know how much money you would make by bringing these kinds of series multi-console? And the hardware, it's not like back in the day where the hardware between Sony and Microsoft was very, very different. The hardware is very, very similar now. Make the move, Sony. It's like adapt or die. It's that simple. But hey, Microsoft's only making $500 million a month on Game Pass, but it is what it is.
Clean. $500 million clean.
Yeah, 34 million subs at $15 a month. That's the numbers. And I get that some of that money is going to go back into the games and other stuff. Like I get that. It's still a lot of money. A lot of money.
A lot of money.
You know what else would make a lot of money if this is true?
Ooh, I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
This is a big deal. A rumor that Respawn, the folks behind Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order, that they're working on another Star Wars video game, which is honestly not a surprise because of the success of those two games. But I thought it would have been another sequel to Jedi Survivor. No, the rumor is that they're working on a Mandalorian game.
This is the way.
This would be huge. First off, you have to remember, folks, the pedigree of a lot of the folks over at Respawn. There has been turnover since they were founded. But these are former Call of Duty devs who founded Respawn and started Respawn. They know shooters. Not a lot of Mandalorian, that's going to be a shooter game. And they said it's going to be like, if you remember the GameCube game way back in the day, Star Wars Bounty Hunter, that was not a great game. This is the chance, also in a weird way, to maybe kind of resurrect what EA was doing with Star Wars 1313 that was supposed to be a Boba Fett game. We could finally get the Bounty Hunter game that we've always deserved and always wanted, ladies and gentlemen. I trust Respawn if this is true. This is one of the studios, to me, they have such a huge pedigree. They have proven themselves time and time again with Titanfall and Titanfall 1, Titanfall 2, and obviously the two Star Wars games they've done. If this is true, this would be, first of all, it also would be a perfect complement to whatever Mandalorian movie they're making, whatever the next series of the Mandalorian television show. You could fill in the gaps between. It could be the time when Grogu's training with Luke Skywalker and Mando's just off doing his thing. You could do so much with this, and I hope this is true. But we will see. But I had to mention it. It's very exciting that this rumor was started. Lee, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't really care when it takes place. I mean, you could do an origin story with it. They haven't really tapped on that in the show, to be honest with you. They've given us hints about it. But like you said it right, Ray. Respawn's done a great job with Star Wars properties. I'm hoping this doesn't take Cal Kestis off the table for them, like for a long time. But I don't care when you do it, and like I said, it's with Disney making a larger Star Wars universe around the Mandalorian characters, him, Ahsoka, everybody involved in that. Why would you not have a game in that universe? Yeah. It would probably start with bounty hunting, but you could expand beyond that very quickly and very efficiently. So yeah, it's one of those things. I don't want to get too excited till I see something.
Sure.
But if you can't trust them with these properties, I don't know who you can trust. And again, when it comes to Jedi Survivor and Cal Kestis, there's another story there that needs to be told. So I hope they don't.
What if Cal meets Mando?
It's possible it'll be far in the future, but it's possible.
An older Cal meets Mando.
Here's the deal. Mando's alive at that time. And again, we know that he was basically saved during the Clone Wars.
Right.
So you could absolutely have Cal meet a very young Mando, and that could be part of the story. There's a lot you could do, right? I just say Cal Kestis' story is not finished yet, and I hope that there's a trilogy of games there.
Yeah, no, for sure. No matter what they're doing, though, this sounds like a win. And
Star Wars is winning right now. Star Wars is going in the right direction, big time. And when you finish Ahsoka, we will talk.
One day.
I need you to finish that for a reason. Yeah.
One of these days, I'll stop playing. I'm playing a game called Banisher's Ghost of New Eden right now. When I finish that 100-hour game, maybe I'll watch Ahsoka.
I'm going to banish you from games so you can finish Ahsoka.
Actually, you would really love Banishers. I'm going to do a full review when I'm finally finished with it. But it's basically medieval Ghostbusters.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So, like,
Ray, dost thou have the? Does those have the particle accelerator?
I mean, it's all swords and sorcery and stuff, but like, yeah, I mean, it's
of protons.
Yeah. It's got strong Witcher vibes. It's by the folks Don't Nod, who made the game Vampire and Life is Strange and Remember Me. They have a tremendous storytelling pedigree. But I'll give a full review when I finish that game. I put 30 hours into it the last 3 days.
It's a smell what the Carsillo is cooking.
It is good, folks. I am enjoying it so far.
Wow.
But again, a full review with a score, hopefully next week, because if I don't beat it by next week, that means that's going to be like a 200-hour game.
It's pretty awesome and horrible and scary at the same time. You know what, Ray? This episode was one of the shortest episodes we've ever done. And I want to let everybody know that with our X-Men 97 theme, our mashup is going to be really great with the year 1997 and sports, which you can listen to this Saturday or whenever you're hearing this, if it's after that time period we released it. Check in to see what that topic is on our mashup this weekend because it's good. It's a good one.
This is going to be a fun one, folks. I think you're going to really enjoy it. So again, thank you all for tuning in. This was a fast episode. Again, not a lot of sports.
Okay, that's okay. Week. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no.
Make sure you like it. Make sure you share it. Make sure you come and find
the Geeks. Still got a full hour of us. You still got a solid hour.
I wanted more, but it is what it is.
You let us know. Hey, comment below. Let us know if you like an hour show or a 90-minute show or longer or less. You let us know. We want.
And if you're non-sponsor, help us out. Skittles. I was wrong. Your flavors do taste differently. It was M&Ms that are all the same flavor. But you know what? Right. When you put them all in your mouth at the same time, you get that nice, juicy, sugary taste that defines so many childhoods.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't eat Skittles one at a time. I put like the whole bag in my mouth at once.
Yeah. That's how you should do it.
Yeah. Or I drink my Dunkin'. So, much different taste.
But anyways.
Yeah. By the way, I'm gonna have to mention the Dunkings commercial was playing on a loop inside the Dunkin'.
Brilliant, smart.
Like, they used one of their LED screens. They replaced it with the menu, and they just playing the Dunkin' commercials over and over again.
My goodness,
it was brilliant. So good. Anyway,
Boston owes the Affleck family both lawsuits and a lot of money. You and I away on it.
There you go. So anyway, for Lee, I'm Ray. This has been Geeks Who Like Sports. Until next time, everybody, good night.